Stop for a second. Before you tell yourself, I just need more money. Ask yourself one question. What if money isn't the thing that's holding you back? What if the life you want isn't waiting for a bigger paycheck? It's waiting for a better version of you. Because here's something almost nobody tells you. Every millionaire you've ever admired started acting like a millionaire long before they ever became one. Not by buying expensive cars, not by wearing fancy clothes, not by pretending to be rich. They simply started making different choices, and those choices slowly built a different life. Imagine two people, same age, same job, same paycheck, same city. On the outside, they look exactly the same. Every Friday, both receive their paycheck. One smiles and thinks, I've worked hard this week. I deserve to enjoy this. The other smiles too, but a different thought enters their mind. How can this paycheck make next month easier? At first, that tiny difference doesn't seem important. Both still drink coffee. Both still pay rent. Both still go to work on Monday. Nothing looks different. But here's the strange part. Life doesn't change because of one big decision. It changes because of hundreds of tiny ones that nobody notices. A few days later, both friends are walking through a shopping mall. A brand new phone catches their eye. The first person stops. This phone is amazing. My old one still works, but I really want it. A few stores away, the second person stops too. Not because of the phone, because there's a small bookstore. A sign in the window says, learn a skill that can change your career. The course costs almost the same as the phone. One walks out with a shiny new box. The other walks out with a notebook full of ideas. Neither choice changes their life that day, but both choices quietly begin changing their future. Because future millionaires don't just ask, what do I want today? They ask, what will help me tomorrow?
Now don't misunderstand this. Millionaires enjoy nice things. There's nothing wrong with buying something you love. The difference is, they don't let today's feelings steal tomorrow's freedom. Most people spend money, then hope they have something left. Future millionaires give every dollar a job before they spend it. That's why money seems to stay with them longer. It has a purpose.
Now think about your own day. You wake up, you check your phone, you open social media. Someone your age just bought a new car. Another person is flying first class. Someone else just moved into a beautiful house. And suddenly, your own life feels smaller. 5 minutes ago, you were completely fine. Now, you feel behind. Isn't that strange? Nothing in your life changed. Only what you looked at changed. And yet, your emotions changed too. This is exactly how comparison steals dreams. It convinces you to chase someone else's picture, instead of building your own future. The first friend falls into that trap. I need a better car. I need better clothes. I need people to see I'm doing well. The second friend thinks differently. If I become more valuable, the money will eventually follow. That's one of the biggest differences between people who build wealth and people who only look wealthy. One spends money trying to impress strangers. The other spends time becoming someone impossible to ignore. Years later, one still needs attention. The other has freedom.
Here's something even stranger. Most people think confidence comes first, then action. But real life works the other way around. Imagine a child learning to ride a bicycle. They don't wake up feeling confident. They wobble, they fall, they try again. Slowly, something changes. Not the bicycle, not the road. The child changes. Confidence wasn't waiting at the finish line. It was quietly growing every time they got back up. Money works the same way. The first time you save instead of spending, it feels difficult. The first time you invest in learning instead of showing off, it feels strange. The first time you say no to something everyone else is buying, it feels uncomfortable. But every time you make that choice, your brain notices. It starts saying, this is who I am now. And without realizing it, you're building a new identity. That's why acting like a millionaire isn't about pretending. It's about becoming. It means making decisions that the future version of you would already make. Not because your bank account changed, because your standards change. And once your standards change, your decisions begin to change. Then your habits begin to change. Then your future begins to change.
A few months pass. The two friends still earn the same salary. still drive similar cars, still live in similar apartments. From the outside, nothing looks different, but inside, everything is changing. One spends every weekend escaping life. The other spends a few hours building one. One keeps asking, when will my life get better? The other quietly asks, what can I do today that my future self will thank me for? Those two questions sound almost the same, but they lead to completely different lives. And then something happens that surprises almost everyone. An opportunity appears, a better job, a new business idea, a chance to earn more. People look at the second friend and say, you're so lucky. Lucky? Not really. They just spent months becoming the kind of person who was ready when the opportunity arrived. Because opportunities rarely change your life. They reveal the person you've been becoming all along. And that's the part almost nobody sees. Now think about something. What if those two friends keep living this way? Not for 1 week, not for 1 month, but for 5 years. At first, nobody notices anything. They still laugh together, still meet on weekends, still talk about the future. But little by little, their lives begin moving in different directions. Not because one worked harder, because one started thinking further. One evening, the first friend gets a bonus at work. The money hits his bank account. Within an hour, he's already planning how to spend it. A new watch, a weekend trip, a few nice dinners. It'll make me happy. Maybe it does. For a little while, the second friend gets the exact same bonus. He smiles too, but instead of asking, what can I buy? He asks, what can this money build? Maybe it's a new skill. Maybe it's a small investment. Maybe it's money for the business idea he's been thinking about. He doesn't know exactly how it will help. He only knows one thing. Money should create more choices, not just more shopping bags. That's something future millionaires understand. Every dollar is like a tiny worker. You can send it shopping, or you can send it to work. The choice is always yours. And over time, those tiny workers either build your future, or quietly disappear forever. Here's something most people never notice. The richest person in the room isn't always the one wearing the nicest clothes. Sometimes, they're wearing the simplest ones. Because real wealth doesn't need attention. It needs patience. That's why so many people spend years trying to look successful, while someone else is quietly becoming successful. One wants applause, the other wants freedom, and those are two completely different goals. One Saturday morning, the first friend sleeps until noon. The second wakes up early. Not because he has to, because he promised himself he would. He reads for 30 minutes, works on a new skill, writes down a few ideas, then he enjoys the rest of his day. It doesn't feel exciting, nobody claps, nobody even knows, but that's how almost every great future begins, quietly, behind closed doors, long before anyone notices. People often ask, what's the secret? They expect a magic answer, a shortcut, a lucky break, but the truth is much simpler. The small things you repeat every day become the big things people notice years later. That's why success looks fast from the outside, but feels slow while you're building it. Think about planting a tree. The first week, nothing changes. The first month, still nothing exciting. Some people give up. It isn't working, but under the ground, the roots are growing. You just can't see them yet. Your habits work the same way. Every good decision grows a root. One day, those roots become a life nobody thought was possible. Years later, the two friends meet again. This time, things look different. One still worries every time a bill arrives. One unexpected problem can ruin his whole month. The other isn't worried, not because life became easy, because he spent years preparing for difficult days. He built skills, he built discipline, he built confidence, and without realizing it, he built a completely different future. People around him smile and say, "You got lucky." He just smiles back, because they only saw the finish line. They never saw the thousands of quiet mornings, the small choices, the nights he kept learning while everyone else kept waiting. That's the funny thing about success. People notice the reward, they almost never notice the preparation. They see the house, not the habits. They see the business, not the books. They see the confidence, not the years of self-doubt that came before it. That's why comparing your beginning to someone else's result will always make you feel behind. You're reading the last page of their story, while you're still writing your first chapter.
So stop asking, when will I become a millionaire? Start asking, what would a future millionaire do today? That one question can change everything. Maybe today, you save instead of spending. Maybe you learn instead of scrolling. Maybe you keep one promise to yourself instead of making another excuse. Those decisions don't make headlines, but they build lives. Remember this, acting like a millionaire isn't about pretending you already have money. It's about proving that you're ready for it. Because money doesn't create discipline, it rewards it. Money doesn't create confidence, it reveals it. Money doesn't create good habits, it makes your habits bigger. That's why the person always comes before the paycheck. Always. So tonight, before you go to sleep, ask yourself one simple question. If the person I want to become was living my life tomorrow, what is the first thing they would do differently? Then do that. Not next Monday, not next month, tomorrow morning. Because your future isn't built in one giant moment. It's built in small moments, repeated over and over again. And one day, people will look at your life, and they'll think everything changed overnight. But you'll know the truth. It started the day you stopped waiting to become a millionaire, and started acting like one. Tell me in the comments, what's one small choice you're going to make today that your future self will thank you for 5 years from now? Because sometimes, one small decision becomes the beginning of an entirely different life.